Welcome back to the North American Summer 2014 Challenger Series Round of 10 play-in. We're seeking our third winner of a do-or-die one-game elimination match. Now, will it be Team Green Forest or No Dice Gaming? You know, it's going to be a close one.
Yeah, and Team Green Forest is named after an internet cafe, middle of California, up towards the north a little bit, but that name has been around for a very, very long time. And they've been competing in Challenger for, a couple of seasons here, I think since 2011.
Yeah,
for a bit.
Seen that name around for a while.
Yeah, and this is, I think, the first time they've gotten into the top 3. They ended up seed 3 on the Challenger ladder, but with a completely new roster than what they've had in the previous Challenger attempts.
Yeah, so you might recognize the name, but the guys behind that mask are all going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, it's Dat Control in the top lane. We have Urenco in the jungle, NATO in the mid lane, Dawn on AD carry, and Sarah Sun on support.
Yep.
So a lot of these names actually don't ring bells with people at home, but one that does will be No Dice Gaming's top laner, RF Legendary. And he went 5, 2, and 7 as Renekton against First Blood counts. And NDG's support K1 is former Curse Academy support K1 Pro. And he went 1, 0, and 11 as Thresh. And he did a really, really good job.
Yeah.
So he's one of those people that last time we saw him wasn't really a shining star.
Sure.
Had to see if he can bring it this game. Because being 1, 0, and 11 in a game where there's only 18 kills is pretty impressive.
Yeah. And I mean, No Dice Gaming, kind of crushed their game anyway. They won their game 18-4. They won that game in about 28 minutes. That was a pretty big stomp for the seed 8 teams. We're going to see if they can keep that going, of course. They can keep themselves in pressure here. We kind of think about the individual plays here. And I know one thing we're going to look at actually is the top lane matchups. So Team Green Forest top laner, Dat Control, Diamond 164 LP, actually carried his team on Jack pretty well, 9-3-2 in that game. But you mentioned RF Legendary. Big plays is a big part of that guy. Pretty popular dude. And, of course, he's mid-challenger, 400 points or so. And that's, to me, kind of the matchup to watch.
Yeah, he's got a very popular stream for himself where he loves running the Nidalee.
Mm-hmm.
Bruiser Nidalee top lane. Big proponent of that. But at the same time, how's that going to hold up against Dat Control?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Nidalee is the kind of champion where, you always lane really, really well.
Yeah.
And it's I feel like top laners have forgotten how to fight that champion because top lane champion pools keep rotating. And you don't, necessarily learn, how to beat X champion. I mean, sometimes you do, but you often just learn, the matchups on an individual basis. And when you're oh, by the way, Shyvana's a thing now, that's a different matchup from before, right? Shyvana Nidalee is not the same as Renekton Nidalee or, any of the things you used to play
before.
Then
when Window got thrown in there, and then when Trundle got thrown in there, and
Yeah.
some other things get thrown by the wayside because they can't deal with the wave clear, which is one of Nidalee's problems early on. Up against Renekton, she gets pushed to turret immediately, which means, all right, do we set up ganks and focus them top in that matchup, or what does Nidalee do? Does she just auto-attack Renekton as much
doesn't
as
matter. No Dice Gaming already banned it themselves.
Okay.
And I'm going to let RF Legendary play the champion. Drop that one away. Draven and Kale, though, banned away by Green Forest. So, unfortunately for Pancakes, no Draven for him.
Yeah, it's actually in Dat Control's champion pool, too, the Nidalee.
Yeah, true.
Same with NATO. So it would be a flex pick if they picked it up for themselves very early on. So banning it away, banning their own one, and banning it first ban is actually quite a big deal.
Here's a different point, actually. Is Stefano, the mid laner for No Dice Gaming, his champ pool is very interesting. He's got Jace and Swain in his top 2. And none of those got banned away. So, you look at Green Forest, and you even look at No Dice a little bit. There's a pretty heavy emphasis on mid lane bans, but none of the ones these guys actually specialize in. LeBlanc, a big champion for both these guys' pools. And I want to see if that champ comes through, if the Swain or the Jace comes through, because they're not dropping the top tier off these guys for the most part.
That's true, and the Kha'Zix is going to be picked up here first rotation, which leaves a lot open. I mean, Kha'Zix is extremely strong. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lulu be picked up here first rotation, but they may just try to wait for something like a LeBlanc and then counter that with a Lulu to stop the burst, because that would most likely be NATO's go-to right now.
So you're right now hovering over on Thresh for K1. I think one of his better champions. I can't be sad about that pick. Lee Sin maybe for Infinity Deaths. His most played. Not going to be a sad one for that one. I feel like you wouldn't early pick Nasus, so I think these are the 2.
Yeah, you want to pick your support. They're playing not to grab what's really strong. They're picking to counter pick at this point.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, you sometimes can first pick a mid laner or a top laner, but
you have to be very confident and you want to take it away.
Yeah. I mean, they're first picking support there, making sure they got Thresh for themselves. Kha'Zix already showed they still go Lee Sin, meaning they really are. They're waiting a lot. You're right. Anytime you pick the same role in the first 3 or 4 picks, it's because you're waiting to kind of pick more.
Yeah, and so they picked Shyvana. Shyvana has a 100% win rate today.
Yeah.
And it's really been the top laners that have dictated most of the matches today.
That's true.
Just tiny little nuances in those wave those 2 turret pushes. If we see another 2 turret push here, it's gonna be like, all right, watch the top laners, watch how they handle this situation. Because here's the thing: is in competitive play, you see it all the time. Ranked 5 ladders, you may not see it all the time. Solo queue, you never see that.
True.
So you cannot learn how to play against that by playing solo queue.
Nope,
you cannot learn wave manipulation, you cannot learn 2v1s. You have to scrim other people.
Yeah.
And when you are a team like No Dice Gaming or Green Forest, it's a little more difficult to scrim people and then tell them, all right, we're going to practice 2
Let's go for these
4-man pushes, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the big chat channel, there's a big Skype chat for all the teams. Like, I always see the Green Forest guys like, hey, anyone want to scrim? We're going between 9 and 11 today. Yeah. And like, if you message them, you get a scrim against them. That's the way you do it. So, champs coming through. Looks like Trundle top lane up against Shyvana. Orianna guard for the mid lane here. Looks like Team Green Forest still needs mid and support for themselves.
Yes, they ended up taking their top laner, and they are saving their AD carry for very last here.
Yeah.
They decided to throw all their cards on the table right before, because
they didn't have the first pick mid. They chose to.
Yeah.
Or to show it first, rather.
They're not even going to counter and pick a solo lane at this point.
Well, they got Trundle already.
Yeah.
Versus Shyvana. So they did get that counter
They did get that counter pick, that's true. But their mid lane, now Team Green Forest get to play whatever they want to Orianna. Twisted Fate does pretty decently. I wouldn't be surprised to see Lulu, which is what I thought was going to be his go-to for NATO. He can still play LeBlanc.
I think LeBlanc versus Ori is fine, but no.
Yeah.
We Twisted Fate. Is he going to go the final grab? Is it going to be Leona, basically a team with a whole lot of engage right now if they go for it? Set up kills for the Kha'Zix and the Shyvana. That is going to be the setup there. So, Shiv, Kha'Zix, TF, Lucian, Leona.
It's a lot of engage there.
Yeah.
V Pancakes, he has some options. So he can play Draven into the Lucian.
It's banned.
Oh yeah, it's banned against him. So they saw that option. They were like, nope, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So
Don't worry, I've done that before.
He's got Twitch, Jinx. He could play
all
some
of which
Graves.
are risky.
Yeah, exactly. So like Graves would be pretty good against Lucian in lane.
Yeah.
Functions very well. Jinx he could play because he has the escape and the fact that they ran a Wombo combo previously.
True.
In the round of 20. If they ran the Jinx, there it is, okay. He'd be able to use his ultimate on top of the Orianna ultimate, and they're going for another Wombo combo here with synergy between V Pancakes and Stefano.
It's weird because there's not a lot of other AoE. Like
they have disengage, so they can set up ball positioning.
This comes weird to me.
It's weird too, okay.
Because they don't have an easy way of dedicatedly getting in. Like when you have Orianna ball, it's like I want, right? But it's all skill shot reliant, right? Yep. Like if you're like a Malphite or Shyvana or something, like you will reach them. Like even Elise will do it. You will reach them guaranteed instead of like I have to land a hook, I have to land a Elise in queue. Yeah. Like you can't start fights without landing a skill shot first. And then there's not a lot of AoE follow-up damage either. It's like you normally want like Shockwave and like a Rumble ulti in a Jinx ult, or Shockwave and like Renekton does like half everyone's health bar, and then you get the ulti in. The fact that it's like Trundle auto-attacking and Lee Sin auto-attacking, like that's not the best setup for a Jinx rocket. I want to see how it pans out.
There's a lot to consider here though, because Team Green Forest, like we said, they have so much engage that it may not just be on you to engage if you are No Dice Gaming. They're going to come to you. You just hope that you're ahead.
Yeah.
It may be like Necrophantasia where it's like they kept engaging over and over again on AoE.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening, AoE was ahead. They're like, all right, you did the engage for us. We're good. We're going to just peel backwards and it'll be fine. And they have Trundle, subjugate the Shyvana, and also put a pillar down to basically split the fight.
It's true. The team does work very well reactively.
Yes.
You do have Lee Sin disengage, TF disengage. The Orianna, I guess, threw me off because I normally think of it as an engaged team. But you're right. If they can play super hardcore peel, keep the Jinx safe, then yeah, that comp works in that.
And Thresh will definitely help with that.
Yeah. And it's more single target focused.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, go kill the Shyvana and go from there.
And the fact that there's Twisted Fate, who's running Flash and Ghost, he's going the FLICKR route here.
Yep.
Which is really good. You'll be more liberal with your Ghost than you will your Flash, and chase people down and get multiple cards on them, stun them twice. I think in the rotation, you can actually probably get 3 off of it.
Yeah, it just depends how long the fight is.
Yeah.
Also worth pointing out, by the way, with the TFs we've been seeing more recently. I went and checked FLICKR's runes and masteries and stuff with his TF. Often runs move speed quints. Also 9 utility for lower summoner spell cooldowns.
Whew.
All right, Hermenko spots the invade, gets away.
Saw that hook go by him, and he's like, yeah, I don't want to be here. It's not a good spot.
NATO. Oh my gosh, he face checked into that jungle just then. Flashes still goes down. No summoner spells even required for that one.
They destroyed him. So would you say they tore NATO?
Yeah, they tore him up. That's good.
I had to give you one.
That was great.
I had to give one back to you.
I'm not sad that you did that. Well, there's a pink ward in the jungle. Sarasun does see that Thresh and Lee Sin are still around there, so they know about this. There's no way you dive this turret, so.
So the fact that the trinkets don't come up until 2 minutes means you have to face check everything, and they have gotten Fog of War control now.
They did not have to.
They've gotten red buff control.
They're trying to
They
fight
have
this.
a pink ward down. NATO, he blew his flash, and he's going all the way around this time. But now they have wards set up, so they will see this, and they are aware that all of Team Green Forest, TGF, are down on that bottom side. And that is a bush that you typically don't check.
They might on their way in. Dash control spotted. And wow, this is great.
No, the possibility is that they are all still in there.
Yeah, of course it is.
They will most likely probably throw a skill shot in there or something, and okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, they spot the ward.
That was bold.
Now the thing is, now they're going to feel like they're safe, but NDG still wants to fight this.
Yeah.
They're going to go again.
They're going to time it. And everybody's there, though, except for there's one coming back. They didn't see the ball.
There's the ward down. Smites up by Aranko. The hook on the DAC control. This could be an interesting fight there. Infinity has forced away. DAC control still in the front lines, dropping down to 100 HP. And now the Sun and RF Legendary. Trundle forced back as well in this one.
Oh.
Red card hits everybody. Q nearly hits the Kazakhs. Now Don forced to run away, but all said and done, it's still the red buff going to Team Green Forest.
So we're having a little different game here. Instead of the 4-man in both the side lanes,
It's 5-man.
it's 5-man in the jungle.
That was all kinds of interesting. Unfortunately, not enough CC really landed there. And no one got any kills, but we're going to have standard lane setups there. Both top laners TPing to this top lane. And both guys can have a lot of potions thanks to their late recalls and showing up with Thorn's Blade and 4 pots each.
So no cash in just yet on the first blood, but that means that because they all received that experience, they're going to get the level 2 advantage first in the lane with less creeps.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what they're doing here, is they're pushing it, making it so that they'll zone them out with the level 2 advantage.
Right, well, there's level 2. They're going to push in. K1 going to look for a hook. Oh,
he walks right into it.
Into Don. Nice play right there. Sarasun takes a chomper to the face. Stun goes back on a pancakes, though. Good damage coming through. You're going to hit Thresh right there. He started all consumables, by the way. So no more sustain left for Thresh.
He's got nothing. He's naked in his inventory.
It's okay. He's got a little bit of bonus gold from that assist. See if that pans out well for him. K1 looking for another hook to go for. Level 2 has been hit by TGF's bottom lane, though.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Sarasun just hit it there. Top lane, though, nothing too interesting going on. And we see Infinity Death level down in his jungle because he hasn't done his red just yet. And Aranko got his own.
He just walked by a ward while he went through there as well. So No Dice Gaming knows Kazakhs is on bottom side. This is something they can play around. K1's going to refresh the ward at Tribrush. Smart choice.
It's scary when there's a Kazakhs on that side of the map. You have no idea when he's coming out, especially if you don't have a ward. Gives you absolutely no idea.
Absolutely. A trinket used earlier by NDG to spot their own jungle. Red buff was not stolen. That was actually the mid laner Stefano who put that one down. So a little bit of teamwork right there. Again, the engage, though. Don getting rooted up. Good damage there, but back on a K1.
Oh, V-Pancakes
not good
position.
for Thresh. They're trying to get away from this one, though. But Jinx forced to flash away. Gets the W landed onto him.
The Zenith Blade is almost up.
Flash Q, auto attack. Don goes in. Kill picked up. Ooh, that E landed. He was dead.
So no buffs actually change hands there, which is important. It took me a second. I was like, nope, there was no jungler there for Infinity Death. No Dice Gaming didn't have anything to do with that. The gold is even across the board, but at the same time, they ended up killing the AD carry. So he's not farming right now.
Nope.
Lucian isn't either. Don went back.
That's fine, though, because he got to cash in for a Vamp Scepter and more consumables. Pancake did not have enough money, even with the first blood assist. And just got a longsword and boots here. So no sustain is going to be rough.
Infinity Death used a lot of his time just sitting off on the side there waiting for a gank, but they weren't going to be able to get NATO. He's playing too safe, too far back. Both of his summoners are down. He has no reason to push up against Orianna with both of hers available.
Yeah, so it's going to be a bit of a safer lane on this one. I do have to question the fact that NDG even went for that fight there. They knew Kazakhs was bottom side jungle. They knew it. They saw him go to Wraiths. You can assume he goes double golems afterwards. And they still went for the engage. I'm very surprised with that.
Yeah, and now RF Legendary, he's actually going to lose this trade. If he uses the bush to just get out of there. He's going to win it now because the Flame Breath is off.
Yeah.
It's a tiny window where Shyvana will just destroy you.
Playing around the cooldowns pretty nicely, and of course with Trundle's innate sustain, he's doing pretty well. Got some potions still. Hook's going to land on the Pharastun. They're going to try for it. Gets the Flay back there. Good damage, and Leona, nice move there. Jumps back in towards the Thresh, try to stay alive a little bit longer. 200 health there. One more attack will do it, and it's the kill picked up for Jinx.
Sarah holds on to his exhaust there. And now RF Legendary, once again, bullying Dat Control between the cooldowns. He will have the innate sustain, like you said. And now bottom lane, the gank was necessary to tilt the balance back in NDG's favor in the bottom lane. They now have a gold advantage, and they're going straight for this turret with the attack speed of Jinx and the extra attack speed bonus from the passive of Lee Sin.
Yeah, they're getting some pretty serious damage in this one. Looks like
level 6.
Ooh, can he turn this one around? They're staying. There's the ulti. They're going for the battle. Who's going to land what? Great hook lands. And here comes the TP in from the top laner, though. It's going to be Dat Control showing up first. Pancakes goes down. Shyvana not required. Lee Sin is around. RF Legendary does not even bother to teleport here. Doesn't even want to help. Infinity Dust gets a stun into his backside. There's Orianna Ball. He's going to stay safe with the Lantern, but another kill picked up. Team Green Forest.
So in the overall, though, they go even in kills. But now the gold is actually going to be a little bit in their favor because Dat Control is going to lose a lot of CS in the top lane. RF Legendary will most likely push as fast as he can to the turret and deny some CS.
Also keep in mind, it's a 5-minute window now on the teleport. So up until about 11:30 into the game, you're not going to have a TP up for Shyvana, but something that NDG could play around.
Yeah, first Dragon is usually around somewhere like 9 minutes, 10 minutes, averaging in these games. Maybe a little bit earlier, too, considering that the previous games were all 4-0 pushes. But yeah, the teleport advantage is something you have to pay attention to. And he used it to a ward. He didn't use it to a turret, so he didn't get rewarded for using it.
But we'll see. I mean, with the champion...
he didn't even get an assist for it either.
Yeah, no, he shoot up entirely late, and unfortunately didn't do anything for him. I think it was the right choice, but ultimately didn't really matter here. Nato still trying to push up the mid lane, missing a couple CS. He is down in this lane ever so slightly. The early needlessly large rod by Stefano is interesting, actually. He's got a whole lot of AP, really good pushing power, not much mana, so he will have to secure his blue buff.
I think he's more worried about actually chunking down NATO. And what this actually says to me is that they want to fight Dragon ASAP. Because you now have this big chunk of AP that's going to make your Wombo combo huge. Speaking of being huge,
yeah, RF Legendary pushing Dat Control around. Cutlass done versus just the Vamps after an extra Doran's Blade. So once again, you're seeing item differences mean just a little bit here. That you're going to get a ward down and get back to his lane in a little bit. He's actually down in XP slightly.
Yeah. The fact that he was by a wave, Dat Control was, when he came down bottom. I think he probably in proximity. Yeah, when they were clearing it down bottom. So they're pretty even across the board. He does have an item advantage for RF Legendary. Yeah. With the Bilgewater Cutlass, which is giving him that edge he needs in the lane to continue bullying. But now, look at that. RF Legendary is just getting poked right now. He's losing the trades, and we also have Erenko in that top lane now.
Ooh, another attempt on the bottom, and the Saracen forced to run all the way around the Chompers. Takes a bit of damage for that one. Otherwise, going to be okay. Lee Sin also slinking around, but the dive top, Erenko goes for it. Half HP, a lot of damage on the Trundle, forced to flash away from this one. So it's a lost flash and a lot of gold lost under the turret, but same thing for NDG down here.
Well, here's the big thing, is they're also right by Dragon, and they know that Kha'Zix is in the top lane, and the TP is down. It would be a 4-on-3. 5-on-3 if RF Legendary teleports in. Sure. He's not going to. He's going to go save the top turret.
All right, and even with that, he'll have close to the same teleport timer as the Shyvana. He'll be about a minute off because he TP'd to a turret there. So there we go. Dragon picked up. NDG playing that one very well. TFLD comes in. So this is not going to be good. No flash on Trundle means he will be going down. Dat Control took aggro, and they get that.
That's a lot of emphasis on RF Legendary. Ultimate coming up top. It's very low on Kha'Zix Erenko.
Oh! That was nice.
Nailed it.
Yep. That was... Hey, the assist even went over the Trundle and the Lee Sin. Lee Sin shielded to Jinx to get an assist marker.
Wow.
Yep. And Trundle dealt damage recently enough that he got one
That's true.
On his own.
They end up getting a turret for themselves because there's so much emphasis on shutting down RF Legendary in the top lane that they've neglected the other lanes. NATO went up to the top lane and didn't really get anything for it. He got the help on the turret and assist, but man, they get a lot more for NDG in that exchange.
That was all kinds of awesome. So No Dice Gaming now 1,000 gold ahead. This is good stuff with these guys. The Dragon, definitely worthwhile.
Here's the thing is that NDG already are displaying that they have better cost-benefit analysis of map rotations.
True.
They're like, we're going to go bottom. Oh, Kha'Zix showed top.
That's fine.
Get turret, get Dragon. Oh, look at that. TF teleport top. Let's go ahead and get mid turret now. They also got a kill in those 2 assists you were talking about. But if you're Team Green Force, you're sitting there going, all right, let's gank RF Legendary. Let's try to shut him down and get top turret. Yeah. Not sure how well that's working for him right now.
A lot of that snowballs off the fact that the mid lane already won. The fact that Stefano was able to push in Twisted Fate so easily and keep that wave in good
They also got his
swords
turret, too.
Huh?
They also got his turret.
Well, yeah. I mean, afterwards. But like, a lot of predicated on the fact that Orianna was already winning 1v1.
Yes.
Right?
And NATO's going to be in an even worse position now, because once you get Twisted Fate's tier 1 turret, it puts a lot of pressure on him. And now you can keep better tabs on him and his global.
Exactly. There's a lot of room for Ori to push him in, so that is going to be a bit of a risk if they can make these happen once more. 3/4 of the way back on TF ulti. See if he can do much with his third cooldown. His third ultimate. He sent one bottom, sent one top. He's been ganking a lot. He's gotten assists each time. But it's the reactions by NDG that have worked out pretty well for these guys.
Get a pink ward for themselves. It's actually a ping to where Arenko was.
Really? Careful, there's bros mid.
Yeah. There's 3-on-2 in the mid lane here. We do see Thresh off on the side. K1's setting something up.
Yeah, so they've got some wards over the top side. No, they're not really in towards the blue buff yet. They're on like the retreat path by a blue buff. Hook. Ooh, that was
almost
nearly
clipped his wings.
That would have been a kill because they would have gone into that. I think. 3-3.
Against Kha'Zix, it's always kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, you can flay the leap. Like he has to at least burn ulti, I guess. He'd burn ulti and flash to get out.
Yeah.
Maybe just ulti. Either way. Back to a 400 gold lead, so with minions getting picked up, it's brought in the gold a little bit closer here. NDG doing what they can to hold the rest of their game, but look at this. TP, the flash stun comes in, and there's Shyvana. K1, is he going to get away from this one? Looks like not even. It's a good shockwave to get a couple, but it's still the kill picked up. Another gold card lands. At least Sinforce to run away.
There's a good positioning there. He threw the shield onto K1 and then used command attack to give it a little extra oomph and distance. He ended up getting 3 in there, but there's no follow-up, nobody even close to around. RF Legendary still in the top lane, so it's a 2-on-4 in the mid.
And it's a good pick. The damage coming down to the turret, but teleport in from Terminal. They want to stop this one. Arenko forced to get away a little bit from this one, but still, 4v5, not a great fight.
And now their teleports, both on cooldown. Dragon not even close to being up at this point. The turret is conceded in the bottom lane, and now Team Green Forest have a 500 gold lead.
Yeah, so they burned their teleport, 5-minute cooldown for a kill. For the gold lead that stood right there. They did not get a turret back for it. They did also trade a lower cooldown TP on the other side of this one. So we'll see now with about a minute-and-a-half teleport window if NDG does anything with that one. Blue buff actually being stolen here, but he's going to get spotted out. How good's Smite going to be? Looks like the kick away. Ooh, outsmited. Arenko gets it. Now there's a TF ulti as well. Infinity House gets stunned up. The jump in forward. The wild cards are going to land. They're going to find one. They're going to find two. Big fight for Team Green Forest.
And they didn't see that coming at all for NDG. Team Green Forest came up big there. They are now 2k gold in the lead, and their early decision-making is now being dictated by the fact that, hey, look at that. We have a Twisted Fate ultimate. Let's actually get some picks. Their objective game isn't amazing, but the fact that NDG was getting overly confident in trying to steal buffs without ward coverage.
True.
Without proper ward coverage of the area and proper analysis of the situation, that you're against a Twisted Fate.
And it worked out well for Green Forest. So NATO, despite giving up first blood, despite losing his lane early on, he's made up for that. 5 of the 6 kills on his team he's had a hand in. That's pretty impressive for himself.
And Arenko's been involved in all of them.
Yeah.
This jungler, despite getting a rocket to the face, which is really, really great to watch, has been part of everything.
It's been awesome for these guys. I gotta say, the first pick Kha'Zix did pay out in this case. He's done a
that's the emphasis on it.
Yep.
Is they knew that this is a champion that Arenko's going to deliver with. So they immediately put him on it.
He even rushed a Brutalizer at a second item, so he's really going damage focused, wants to snowball the lead he's gotten so far. It's worked out. The picks have been good. DAC Control back in a side lane push, but he's almost 11 to RF Legendary's 9. He's like 2 minions away from this one. So once again, we're seeing the top lane winning pretty heavily.
And the teleport for RF Legendary is going to be up a little bit sooner. You'll be able to apply pressure on the map. But now that they have tabs on all the members of NDG and the fact that Dragon is up, they have to walk down there.
Uh-oh, NATO getting kicked from the team, though. Great solar flare to back it up, and here comes the dive on in. Dawn picks up 1. Explosions come out. Looks like a 2-for-1 so far. Pancakes trying to run away, gets flashed over, making that a 3-for-1. And now Infinity not in exactly the best spot. Gonna ward hop away. Here comes Kha'Zix off on one side. Q's gonna miss. I think he's gonna be all right.
And during all of that, because the teleports weren't up, RF Legendary got pushed out of lane by Dat Control, and now he has a lot of free turret damage. The Dragon is going to go over to Team Green Forest. And
they're just out fighting.
Yep. Stefano didn't even get his ultimate off in that entire clump. He was only able to use the heal, and the engage was just really spot on there for Team Green Forest in the collapse. But basically what ended up happening was Infinity did the engage for them there.
Yeah. They thought it was a pick, but the fact that Leona turned it around so fast.
Yeah, they were all clumped up, and it was really good crowd control. Oh, there he goes, ulti to the top.
Trying to get RF Legendary now, trying to get back towards his base by the red buff. Looks like he's going to be safe. Flash for TF ulti.
Yeah, and for Shyvana ulti as well. We're going to have to see that they're pinging mid lane, saying that's where you need to go right now, because that's the open part.
TF's making his way down. So pretty hectic game. It's just like things happen out of nowhere every time TF ulti is available. These guys, all of them trying to make individual plays. And it's not like this dedicated sieging where it's like, hey, Emmanuel's building up. It's like, hey, there's a random guy, kill him.
Yeah, and this is the right call. They're going for that top turret, which is the last tier 1 turret that NDG have available to them. Once they get this, they're going to have to ward the jungle a little more. They have tons of warding. Like there's nothing wrong with their warding currently at this point in the game. But the question is, do they make the right decisions? Mid lane, they're most likely going to give it up, but if they can continue to push, or if they can wrestle somebody out of the jungle and kill them, then definitely be worth. It looks like they might be collapsing middle.
Well, let's see. It's TF pushing by himself, the rest of the team going through, but there's already some defensive wards watching them rotate there. So TF going to be safe, backing off. 5 kill lead, 3,500 gold lead. Team Green Forest still the dominant one on the map, and Twisted Fate ulti halfway back. Will they keep playing it passive until they find that next opening?
And you can see Team Green Forest has 4 sweepers already to the 1 of No Dice Gaming. No Dice Gaming, they have ward control advantage, but Team Green Forest, all their sweepers are up too. Like, they haven't swept anything out. They haven't found the ward locations, and they haven't been confident enough to actually use the sweepers.
It's interesting. I actually is very surprised that a team doesn't pick up more sweepers. Like, you normally see 3 by like 8 or 10 minutes. That's like completely standard in competitive
And
play,
also the fact that it is Elise Sin, he hasn't gone for the Sightstone just yet. He actually is just holding onto the wards in his inventory. So he hasn't
swapped. And with Golem.
Yeah.
You normally see Lizard as well, so a very different setup for No Dice Gaming. Very tanky sort of situation for these guys. Mid lane turret does go down. Team Green Force has managed to just push.
They're looking for the sustained fight. They aren't looking to make it so that they just blow somebody up. They're looking for the sustained fight. They're looking for the Orianna ultimate into a dissonance, into Jinx Rocket, and then continue with, like, Jinx with red, continuing to pick people off with Get Excited.
Obviously, it's going to play for them.
Nobody on their team is extremely bursty.
Yeah.
They have NDG. Green Forest has burst.
Sorry.
Green Forest
yeah. Sorry, I misspoke. You're right.
Yeah. NDG, they have a lot of sustained damage. Very high. Oh, there's the flash.
Oh, it's a red card. That was going to be enough for Pancakes to go down. The jump in by Aranko. Yeah, that's enough. Ooh.
The ball returned to him.
The protect into Shockwave. Going to whiff right there. That's not good.
The ball returned to him off of the death of Pancakes.
That is very unfortunate there. Well, bottom lane going to get pushed up. Dat Control still splitting towards the mid lane. Infinity. They got to hold up that lane against him, but Dat Control, he's going to pull aggro, actually, just do damage and doesn't even care about the turret. Goes right back on in.
He's very strong. Theme of the day has been Shyvana is just bullying people around and being a very good top lane pick.
It's really happening, yeah.
I remember back in the days when people were like, why are you playing Shyvana top? That's trolling.
Nope.
Not anymore.
Really beefy bruiser guy who gets into fights, deals the damages. There we go, blue buff grabbed away. Team Green Forest very much in control. His gold lead now about 6,000, so that number keeps going up. And it's interesting, like they're playing the pushes when they appear, but otherwise they're playing around TF ulti a whole lot. It's this weird, like, sort of scattered aggression that's hard to get a grasp on.
Yeah, and Team Green Forest, like you said, the 6K gold advantage here, and the fact that these teleports, honestly, have not been used to full effect just yet. They teleport into fights, and it's like, or they teleport to a location to defend it, just to dissuade the enemy. Like, Dat Control's teleport usage has been a little bit better. RF Legendary, he gets the lower cooldown on it when he uses his, but he's not abusing that. Because Dat Control is just so much further ahead in lane right now by 2 levels and by 30 CS that if you leave Dat Control alone in the top lane and you TP away, he's going to push a turret. He's got the Blade of the Ruined King. He's got Twin Bite. He's fine. He's going to clear it immediately. So when you teleport out, of that top lane if you're RF Legendary. You end up giving Dat control, complete control of that top lane.
And yeah, or we're seeing what happens when that exists. He teleports in, makes things happen, like keeps shoving up, and creates a lot of pressure by himself. So
speaking of creating pressure by yourself, though, Arenko, 100% kill participation. Still coming up big for his team. And now, once again, teleports both up. Dragon's up in 50 seconds here. And NATO has used his ultimate pretty well this game. The first couple of them were questionable, but ever since he started getting a grasp of it, back and forth there.
Double Ruin King, they're fine.
Ever since he's gotten a grasp of his ultimate, though, and where they need to focus their attention, they've been coming up big.
Absolutely.
The way he's been positioning himself, the picks that he's been able to make, like that last one, even though it was a red card on V Pancakes, still good enough.
Definitely was. So, got the dives. They're getting the kills. Don randomly split pushed the bottom lane, and no one stopped him. So he took the tier 2 turret down just there. It was a 4-3 turret game. All the abilities are back up, and right now it's Dat control split pushing top lane. Maybe that'll turn into something.
Yeah, he pushed it far enough up, or RF Legendary pushed it far enough up that Dat control has to deal with it. RF Legendary is here for the dragon fight already at the start. Doesn't have ultimate, though, for RF Legendary. He's going to have to wait. And if they pick up this dragon, this could be their key and their way to get back into this game. But the TP from RF Legendary, he'd have to get it off with no interruptions to get back to that top lane. Because Dat control, oh, there he goes. He's behind them, too.
You want to go for the engaged box, comes down. There's the dive in. Jinx pretty low. RF Legendary forced to get away from that one entirely. Dat control still up in the mix. Jumps into the back line, actually. Now Jinx about to fall. Does get picked up by Kha'Zix. The TP in from NATO. Twisted Fate making that happen. Double kill for Arenko on Kha'Zix. Team Green Forest, once again, they win the fight.
It's a 2-for-0. Great teleport there by Dat control into that ward on the back line. They're going straight for infinity now. They're trying to pick more people off of this map. There's the shockwave. I was going to say he hadn't used it at all in that last team fight. And there it was. That's the second whiffed shockwave this game. And there was one time when he had potential to shockwave, but it didn't work out. And now, all these sweepers that they have, they can sweep the pit multiple times. This is a blind guess by the blind monk.
Well, unfortunately, he's not on the correct side for all this one. TP comes in from Trundle, puts the pillar down, but Lee Sin still not yet around. Goes in to put up a little bit of damage there. RF Legendary gets blocked up, tries to get away from this one. Actually, disengages quite nicely. Shockwave would have been nice now, but not available. Dis on the left-hand side doesn't get in time. Blows up Baron. Goes over to Team Green Forest, and now the jump in. Stefano also gonna fall. RF Legendary takes a laner to get out, but now K1 not in the best spot. Nice trophy. Might get the disengage they need. Green Forest again, 2-for-0 plus Baron, pretty good.
RF Legendary was role-playing Trundle there and trolled the Orianna. Stefano went back for the Lantern, and it was already gone.
So only one of them could take it.
Yeah, the flash there, the play that Infinity tried to make, was a good one considering his options. But at the same time, Team Green Forest, they're going to get so much off of this. The Baron, in fact, they have the regen, 24 minutes in, 12k gold advantage. Once again, Shyvana is doing a lot of work, 3-0-4. We're not even talking about just Dat control, but Shyvana all day long has been champion to be reckoned with.
Yeah, massive 3-0-4, making great things happen. There we go. Randuin's Omen now grabbed as well. They've got a tanky-ish guy to start the dives, if they need to do that even more than before. And now here we go. Baron buff, items grabbed, death cap done, 2.5 item 80 carry. Next push gonna start.
Yeah, these 80 carries are a little mismatched.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
He's a full Last Whisper head, basically.
Yeah. And he's got a long sword on top of it. Well, he's got a quick cloak.
It's long sword versus cloak of agility, yeah. But it's basically he's a Last Whisper ahead. Plus, it's the 13 to 11 in levels, so you've got another 6 AD, 6% attack speed roughly in stats. So
yeah,
pretty important. Here we go. Another dragon picked up. Team Green Force making sure they do the standard bookkeeping. Blue buff back up as well. They'll take this one.
And so we talked about the top laner at the start of the game, Dat control versus RF Legendary, and that really is a big part of this matchup, is how much pressure they're able to get. And Dat control owning that lane, 3-0-4 against 0-2-2. He shows up to the fight at the right spot for the engagement. And we talked about his Jax, and that he came up really big with a 9-3-2 in the previous round of 20. And now, he's 3-0-4. He's doing a lot of work for his team. And he's still split pushing. He's still carrying the game. He's already in this fight. He knows this teleport's down. They're like spreading around, getting control of the jungle. They have the Baron buff. You can't really fight this as NDG with a 14k gold deficit plus the Baron buff. You're basically fighting 18,000 gold worth of combat stats.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Not exactly the easiest thing to go against right there. Mid tier 2 going to be relinquished there. Team Green Force just show up with a couple of guys, and NDG know they can't really stand for it. They will try to defend inhibitor turrets now, though. This is the test. Baron buff. Still a minute and a half to go. Solar Flare is going to land on the Jinx. Here comes the dive. Good kick back by Infinity, but I think there's too many stats here. Green Force goes in. They pick up the Jinx kill. Nice 3-man Shockwave, but is it enough for NDG? Looks like no. Another kill comes through. TF with the double. 2-0, and now the inhibitor.
They're going to go ahead and pick up this inhibitor turret for themselves. Dat Control, he has some tanky stats in there. Just go ahead and swap himself out. Q landed onto Dawn. It's not going to take it.
12 seconds till any major respawns come back. No way you go for the 3v5 in this one. Team Green Force is going to back out.
Baron buffed up team alongside a Twisted Faith. Just lock in a yellow card and then you're done for. Hasn't had the Lich Bane just yet.
Yeah, the new build's been more like you get 20% CDR at the beginning.
Yeah.
I see Merlin on the counter refused almost every time.
And look at that, the Solar Flare onto V Pancakes. He gets the Lantern out to the side, but the gold card and the just pure damage that NATO has built is more than enough for them to take him out. Look at that. Another, just a wild card after pick a card is crazy damage right there without the Lich Bane.
Yeah, it's enough though. I mean, he's got a setup for the team in the first place. He's got Void Staff done now as well. And I mean, the thing is, TS ratios are decent.
Yeah.
The stacked deck, the E got a buff when the Lich Bane nerfs went through, so just building AP and just showing up is still very effective.
It's a very, very valuable build. We're seeing it come up big here. This turret pushing is still really good, even without it.
Yeah, blue card still hits turrets.
Yeah. And look at that, Scrying Orb onto Dawn. Scrying Lens. He's man after my heart.
Scrying Orb, so wonderful. Got one.
That's so that he doesn't have to face check anything, and just basically a tool to help them close out the game.
You know, I think I know why his team picked Leona. Radiant Dawn. Screen name of the AD carry, Radiant Dawn, the idol of Leona.
Okay.
Yeah. Champion title pun.
And name pun.
Yeah, it's great. So much in there. At least a 2.
At least a 2?
It wasn't very good. Let's be real. But it was the best I got. There we go. Jump in. Saracen doing a pretty good amount of damage also. Yeah, taking some damage, but doesn't really care. He is Leona after all, but now the dive underneath the turret. This could be a good fight if they get enough CC through it. Kill picked up on the lead sin so far. Dat Control forced away to the side. And there we go. Orianna finds one. The flash in by Shyvana, locked up a bit by Thresh, though. The box is pretty big. 3 members dead, and now NATO goes in a little bit too aggressive. Kills picked back up. 4-2 battle. NDG trying to stay alive.
That's the best shockwave that Stefano's had all game long, which I think was really the turning point in that fight. In the fact that they were fighting under a turret as well, so it was really 6th man for NDG.
Yeah.
Came up big there, off of the back of Stefano, who was peeling the entire time, throwing down the ultimate. We're going to watch it here. He pancakes, he flashes, and the Solar Flare completely whiffs. And here we see Shockwave is going to land onto, I think, 2 members here. They get pushed back. They are just kiting, and it's a split call. There's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah, at this point, they're separated, and it's like TF wants to help. You'd be like, oh, wait, they all died too fast.
It's too late. I thought we were getting turret.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Even with Jinx dead, the persistent damage there from Trundle Ori was enough to burn those things down.
Yeah, Trundle has a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Just the fact that he will leech your damage too with the chomp.
Yeah.
Give it to himself.
The fact that Shyvana's ahead isn't that hurtful for a Trundle.
No, it actually helps him.
A little bit.
The fact that she is so tanky makes him very tanky.
Yep. Another reason why Leona was picked. Sarah's son.
Dang.
Too much synergy.
Sarah's son and the Radiant Dawn on AD carry.
Yeah. You can't not pick that champion anymore. It's now actually required. You're disqualified if you pick another one. Not actually.
No. It's not a real rule.
I mean,
making it up as you go along, freak.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. All right, well, now the defense is going to continue there. Of course, Orianna, one of the best defenders in the game. 3-2-3, not a bad score, of course. Unfortunately for their Jinx player, Pancakes, he's been jumped on a heck of a lot.
Sarah's sun is just so bright, has a constant sun under her feet.
Yep. Ate a Flame Chomper, didn't want to let go.
Just consumed by the fire.
That's fine.
That should just be how Leona looks all the time. That looks awesome.
That's a little garish.
That is awesome.
I mean, yeah.
No, that is awesome. Get that to Iron Stylus now. Make it a thing.
All right. You know what?
Look at it.
You're right. You're right.
This is badass.
No, I agree with you. At least replace the W particle with it.
Yeah.
NATO, not quite ready for the gold card. Good trophy. Keep his team safe. Team still has their eyes on the prize.
They're setting up a bait here, though. Oh,
nice
almost. Almost.
That's right. You do something to check the brush and immediately back off to get away from skill shots.
Yes. Because if it lands, you don't want to be even close. Because if your skill shot can land, so can theirs.
Yes, it can. Typically.
Typically, yeah.
Unless it's like a Draven ulti, then you can shoot.
Oh lordy.
All right, well, Saracen still waiting off in the wings. Does get spotted. Infinity says, all right, but now there's no Lantern available. He does not have Flash, but it's a one-way trip. He goes for the steal on this one. There we go. The dive on in. Big damage comes through. One kill picked up already. He's going to be Shockwave back, but it's still a 2 for 0. Now K1 is going to go flash to the wall, but Orianna also falls 3-0.
There's just way too much damage from Team Green Forest. It's a bait into the Baron, and they don't even pick it up for themselves. They want to close the game out here. NATO picking up Infinity.
There we go.
Next
all
inhibitor.
5 are dead for about 25 seconds. Inhib going to be going down. Now, can they backdoor both Nexus turrets? They didn't have to if they could go for the top lane, but they will go for this one right now, closing out the game. Onto the Nexus. Damage going through to the guys tanking those turrets. NATO, he's one hit from dead. He's gone. All right, but the 4v0, time to reconnect. Don't worry about it. We've got ourselves the game in this one already. Nexus going to be going down. You know what? I think we saw the conclusion of the game anyway.
Boom, there it is.
Right. There we go.
Whoop.
Conclusion of the game. Good switch.
Yeah. She lost her golden sun there, too, at the end.
The other spectator.
Sarah
Switch speeds. Okay, we made it. No longer the official name.
So once again, Shyvana coming up big.
Yeah.
Dat Control showing that he's a master of that up against RF Legendary. So we're going to have Team Green Forest move on to the round of 8, which is the first time they've been in the round of 8. They have been a constant competitor throughout many different challenger tournaments.
Yeah.
And they've never come up as big as they just came up right there with this roster. This is a new roster coming in here. Same name.
Yeah.
Wonder if they all still play at that internet cafe together, or if it's just a name at this point.
So we'll figure out, especially if they qualify for LCS. You know, that'll be like first week story about them playing there, and that'll be an obvious easy plug for those guys. So I gotta say, great play by pretty much down the line. I think everyone made really good moves. The Kazakhs, Arenko, 9, 2, and 11 finally didn't have 100% kill participation, but overall awesome play. First pick the champion, did a bunch of great stuff. Dat Control 4-1-11 on Shyvana. Won his lane, showed up the fights, was a Shyvana, and played it right.
Yeah, and his name just basically speaks for itself and what he did with the lane. He controlled it. He controlled the teleports. That's something I have to put a big emphasis on, was his teleport control. The way he would teleport onto a ward that's already behind them. Somebody had to place that ward, though. So there's communication there. Shout out to whoever did that. Probably Sarah Sun.
Yeah, probably support.
Probably the support. You know, sometimes you're surprised, though. You're
sometimes
like, AD Carry did it.
Oh. Yeah! I buy 1 ward per game.
I think you probably do. Do you rely on the
I actually buy a lot of wards.
Okay. So you're not that bad.
Yeah.
But still, the ward in the back line helped him out immensely in that dragon fight. And then the fact that he would teleport in all of the time in the right position, which basically, I have to frankly say his teleports were outplaying RF Legendaries.
Yeah, and they were always behind the competition too. It's worth pointing out. And with the Shyvana ulti, you get behind someone, you can pull them into your team to help guarantee. Again, you did the shout out to Sarah Sun for getting the wards down. Getting the wards down in the back line in order to TP to them was awesome. That is something that you definitely require your teammates to do for you to get them in the right positions. They definitely were. Those all worked out. The fact that they actually played this sort of individualistic picking composition for the most, the beginning kind of 15, 20 minutes of the game, right? Kazakhs, TF, the Shyvana TPs, those all happened. The team focused around picking up individuals, and they got those, and that was awesome.
Yeah, and they did play the pick comp a little bit better than team we saw last game.
Yeah.
With the Twisted Fate. So this, I liked this a lot.
The majority of the lanes got ahead. So.
Yeah, their lanes got ahead, but that was pretty much through just sheer CSing. Twisted Fate Ultimate came up top, I think, very, very early on. They gave up map control and gave a lead over to No Dice Gaming, but No Dice Gaming got a little too confident and invaded the jungle, and I think that was the turning point.
And the thing is, those guys, NDG, they had made so many good moves. We've called it out, I think 3 times in a row. They made the better strategic play, right? They traded bottom lane for top lane, but that meant they got to take the Dragon, and then the mid lane because TF had left. Like, those were all really, really good moves, and they did that a couple of times. But yeah, as you pointed out, they got too aggressive, right? They went somewhere with only 2 guys, knowing TF has ulti, got themselves into a 2v3, over-aggressive there. Like, their reactions were really good, right? They ganked the correct lane, then reacted to the reaction, basically, and kept that pushing forward. But then when they did make a move, they made the wrong move. And that's what it came down to.
Like, they know how to counter, but setting up and making sure they don't get punished for it was not their strong suit.
They got greedy against TF. Like, that was it. They got greedy against TF. They got punished for it. It's unfortunate. Hopefully we will see more of these guys in Split 2. But yeah, it definitely snowballed off of a pretty bad blue buff call. I got caught up for it.
Yeah, I'm still throwing that blue buff call into question. But at the same time, Team Green Force took complete advantage of the situation with what they had. So they had to be really happy with that and really happy with their performance from what they did. The synergy from Dawn and Sarasun was on point. Dawn finishing 5-0 and 12.
Yeah.
With Sarasun finishing 1-2 and 15. So they ended up with very close skill participation between them, and Dawn having the highest gold in the entire game. So the AD carry came up big up against V Pancakes, who was having a good game at the start. He was having a very good game, and they were looking for the hyper carry late game here from No Dice Gaming with the Orianna, who Stefano, the shockwaves were just not good today.
Some of them were good. Some of them were definitely pretty lackluster.
More often than not.
Yeah, so there was one where his target died too soon.
Yes.
There's one where he got like a single target with it. One got walked out by Kha'Zix. One time he died before he got to cast it.
There was like 2 of them where he whiffed completely.
Yeah.
And then there was an opportunity for a 4-man ultimate afterwards.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to hold on to the ultimate.
Yeah.
Sometimes you really just have to hold on to it for the situation. There was a time where he caught like 3 people, but there's no follow-up. It was just a disengage tool.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's enough for it, right? Like, sometimes you just need the disengage. And it is worth pointing out, we talk about Orianna shockwaves a lot.
It's difficult.
4-man shockwaves were given to you. You can't just get 4-man shockwaves because they have to be in an area. Like, you can identify them, that's fine, but like, the best player in the world can't guarantee 5-man shockwaves until they're there. So, sometimes the game doesn't play out that way. It's part of the reason we actually see like less malfight sometimes, is that teams will split up more. They won't get like 2 to 3-man ulted there.
You can force the issue.
Sometimes.
Like fighting in the jungle against an Orianna, fighting near red buff in that little area. You put the ball down in the bush or whatever, and basically you bait them into thinking that you're retreating. Like I know LMQ does this extremely well.
Yeah.
They won't pop summoner spells. They won't pop ultimates until after you think you're winning the fight. You think you're winning the fight, you're like, oh, we got him to half HP. Then they start retreating, and then they will instantaneously turn it around on the shockwave because you walked over the ball to pursue them.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to do? You're like, I just got them to half HP, and they're running away from me. The ball's right next to me. Do I run forward towards them? Or do I walk away and be like, I got them all to half HP. Let's go do something. Most teams will say, no, let's go get them. Let's go get a kill.
Sure.
And that's where they thrive.
And that's the funny thing, actually, is normally, like, generally speaking, there's 2 ways you fight. One is we caught the guy and he dies. Done. 2 is you fight for an objective. And if you get them to half and they run away, just go hit the dragon or the blue buff or whatever. Like, chasing kills is very often a weak play because something else could have been done. This actually happened at All-Star Paris, actually, in OMG versus SKT. I think it was game 1. OMG won a big fight. Pretty much only the Kha'Zix was alive. And they're like at tier 2 mid turret. And they're like, let's go that way and chase the Kha'Zix. When they could just push a turret, maybe even inhibit a turret as well, because they're like 4-1 on the map or something.
Wastes your time.
Yeah, it's a waste of time to chase kills when there's usually other things to do. Even if it's just like sweeping Baron wards, sometimes that's just worthwhile because you set up for the play 2 minutes in advance. That's actually typically the way you want to play League in a organized competitive setting. Is you want to think about the game 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes in advance. Okay, well, I'm going to have my ultimate before he has Shockwave, or before he has Flashback or something. Make sure your first gank is here when I'm 6. It'll guarantee the kill. Just be ready for that. Jungler, be at full health, like whatever it takes. Knowing the plays you have available. Very, very smart.
And a very easy way to practice that is to keep a dragon timer and set up a minute before.
Yeah.
Back a minute before, set up your wards, basically before you back. Be like, I'm a Visit Dragon, there's a ward, stay safe, and then
shove your lanes out so there's no counter pressure, and then collapse down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the teams that execute that, you will see it very, very clearly.
Yeah.
You'll be like, wow, they were already in time for Dragon. How come that never happens with me? It's because you don't set up for it. These things just don't fall into your lap. You have to prepare them ahead of time.
Yeah.
It's just like ward control inside of somebody else's jungle.
Yeah.
You have to prepare it ahead of time.
Yeah.
And the fact that you went that extra mile and said, all right, it's about 5 minutes. There's a ward. I will come back for that blue and be on top of that.
Yeah, it'll be in 2.5 minutes. It'll be well within the ward timer. And then I actually want to even keep on this topic because we talked about dragons briefly. Because I mentioned, like, push the lanes out. Like, there's like basically layer 1, which is, hey, set up for your objective, then go do the objectives that you don't lose the fight for the objective. Layer 2 is, you don't have to fight for the objective. You can do something else while they're doing it. Again, for example, the case of we saw TF go top, the gank from the mid laner go bottom, and then they went for dragon, right? They reacted to TF top by getting the mid lane as well.
Yes.
That lane is empty. That is an extra counterplay to what the guy went for. And so when you think about that, right, it's, hey, when you go for a dragon, shove your waves out, because if they go mid turret tier 1 for dragon, that's a wash. Yeah. And a lot of people actually say it's better for the turret, actually, for the team that kills the turret, because
they got TF
turrets give you map control. Yeah, exactly, right? And it's like, but it's just in general, not even just kind of about TF, but like in general in the game, it's like tier 1 mid is usually worth more than a dragon in most situations where tier 1 mids are still up.
Yeah,
in general.
Tier 1 mid, I would definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
Top, no. Because it's
maybe
very easy to freeze and manipulate it if you are a top tier
Sure.
player.
And then, but then even that snowballs on itself, because when you have these debatable advantages like tier 1 top, and in general, I agree with you, right?
Yeah.
In general, I agree with you.
There are always those little things like, oh, they gave up red control. Now it's easy to get there.
Sure.
Or jungle's getting stolen away.
Exactly. Is that those are not things you play around. Like suddenly your strategy changes because, well, top lane tier 1's dead, meaning I can keep this lane shoved. My top laner can easily show up with their red buff. Before he couldn't. If it's the standard top left corner between tier 1, the defender typically has the advantage their top laner shows first. But if you have the ward control of like the brush by the Wraith, right? Maybe the brush on the red buff, and your top laner's pushed up, he now shows up first for red buff or for blue buff if it's the other team, of course. And now you own this side of the map if you play it properly. And now here's these plays you can make. It's actually what we saw in the very beginning when we fought the Shyvana versus Rengar matchup. 2 turrets dead. Shyvana stayed pushed. That team now owned top jungle. They got a kill out of it.
Yeah, and
kind of plays you have.
All this talk, Master Tactician Azingi, RIP today. It's now Master Tactician Freak.
Why not?
There you go.
No, I can't take his role. Azingi always is that man.
Yeah.
Guys, we're 3 elimination games down. Legally, it's too much excitement for one day, but we're breaking the law with a 4th win or stay home match between Denial Esports and Curse Academy. Find out who moves on right after this.
That's a lot of emphasis on RF Legendary. Ultimate coming up top. It's very low on Kha'Zix Zarenko.
Oh! That was nice.
They have to walk down there.
Uh-oh, NATO gonna kick the team though. Great solar flare to back it up, and here comes the Typhon in. Dawn picks up 1. Explosions come out, looks like a 2-for-1 so far. Pancakes trying to run away, gets flashed over, making that a 3-for-1.